everyone, and we're live to the world.
What up? Yeah, that sounds way better. We're here. I don't even know what time it is, but we were here.
It's 10 a.m.-ish.
Yeah, it's still got to be pretty close. The 23, right? That's fine. We were ready, but we had to talk and catch up and
You know, there's a lot of things happening in the world.
everything. Don't work on text, and I really just hate being on the phone, man. Like just like a regular like phone call, just
Like,
is the
just
hardest
having
thing
to
in my
talk.
life. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
man.
mind
Wait till
stuff like
you. How
this.
much business have you done in Costa Rica and like Latin America where you have to voice note?
Yeah, it's not exciting. Um, Part of it though, right? Trying to figure out the best way to navigate it all. But it is what it is, right? Um, Either way, it's it is Wednesday, right? It is Wednesday.
It's
See,
Wednesday.
you threw me off there. I don't even know how, but it's a good Wednesday. Uh, News? Any
What's
news?
happening all right, in the jiu-jitsu world, Craig got arrested over the weekend.
Is that real or fake?
I don't know, man. My first thought, because it got shared from the official Flow channel, is that look, Craig knows how to play the WWE game, right? How many times have you seen a wrestler escorted out of the location in handcuffs, put in a cop car, filmed in a jail cell? Like, bravo, because it made me go, I think that's fake.
I think it's a work. I don't. So
Look, at the very least, props to Craig. Craig took the Kardashian approach when he started advertising. He any press is good press. It doesn't matter what's going on. And so he played that game pretty well for a while. So I wouldn't be shocked if this was all a work, or if he did push the boundary a little bit and he was going to be okay with whatever headline came out of it. Because we've all talked about Craig over the weekend at some point because of that. So,
like, what would he have been doing at Flow to get arrested for?
trying to jump on a show maybe, or because they're going super official these days, and they've made these changes where they're being, so from what I understand is that there's always been a conglomerate of Flow sports, but Flow grappling has had no oversight. And so nobody's been paying attention to what they're doing. And so there's not been a congruent like guidance. And so the new guy that's here, his name is escaping me right this second. I want to say like Dan. The new guy that's the CEO or COO at Flow now. Yeah, and he's over Flow grappling. And so he's the oversight over Flow that is gonna make this facelift change for them, and they're gonna like make all these different adjustments and things. Like, I personally, as a consumer, have already seen them putting more out in the like hemisphere of like the jiu-jitsu like YouTube world.
Dog. Y'all need to call me CJI. I'm ready.
I agree.
Put me in.
You're the what are we gonna, are you the voice of the South, or are
I don't
you
even know. It don't even matter almost.
you all of them? Bobby, all of them.
You know, it's a work, and I get it. And this is exactly what we've been talking about a lot, Wallow, especially myself, for quite a while.
Yeah.
On the first one, I was definitely like trying to be Mr. Super official. Then I blew the ass out of my pants. Like, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can do the bit. It's already
Hey,
set.
would you say the button your pants ripping out was your mom's spaghetti moment?
Yeah, it's pretty. That was pretty wild. I'll be honest with you. It was definitely like
No, this is the biggest day of my life.
Yeah, this is crazy. I can't believe this is happening. Like, no way this is real. Like,
So that we have the full story real quick in this clip. Like, what happened for the people out there? You got called up to the big leagues. You were at CJI. We had just done PGF in Vegas. Or had we done we hadn't done PGF out there yet.
I think it was coming up.
Yeah, yeah. So stage is
Or
set.
maybe we did do one.
Did you go to the barber that day? Did you get shaved up? Did you get all cleaned up? Were you like
I
set me
do it
up for the day?
I do it all myself, right? So whatever the day is, I definitely had, my shaving kit equipment ready to, you know, get the proper glisten on there. Mandy was with me, so was, kind of cool in that way too. Uh, she's gonna never really seen me do this much, and then just being at this level was like nice. That was kind of cool. Um, had my suits, ties ready, um, got it, body powder on. Can't be sweaty and too dirty too soon, maybe. Um, Shoes, I'm not sure what to do with the shoes, right? There's a big movement with, just wearing your like your Jordans or your whatever's
Yeah.
with your suit, and it's cool. Or you can wear, like your nice shoes or whatever, boots, whatever, I got the Gators uh that I throw down sometimes with it. There's another side story unrelated to this event with that, but I don't like to do that because I don't want to wear them on the mat. Like I'm still like I don't want to wear my shoes like on the mat,
Hoist
especially like a
Gracie.
hard
Hoist
heel.
Gracie had on his cowboy boots at the end of the PGF, and that reassured everything that I ever doubted about walking out there at the end of the show. We're gonna mop it. The
I get
show's
it.
over.
I don't know, but not when I'm doing it
As I said that, I was like, yeah, but you're walking out between
every
rounds.
single time, right? And I'm going to the bathroom and I'm peeing a lot because I'm nervous, trying to
Oof.
stay hydrated because my voice
Oof.
has got to be wet and sultry. Um, so yeah, I got my teas ready. Like,
Honestly, what we need is we need like a guy. You know how they have the red jacket guy in football that walks out with the announcer, and
mm,
that's telling everybody else to hold up. We need that guy to walk out with you and have like a mat, and he doesn't have on shoes, but he has like a little mat that he tosses down for you to step out on. You step out, do your thing. He
I don't
steps
mind.
down, wipes it up, leaves
I
it.
don't
I
mind.
think Keelan put it in the budget.
And so I don't mind having like the barefoot kind of wide shoes on or whatever to make it
Right.
more about because that's who I'm is. But this, like you said, this is a big show. There's a lot of people involved that had a lot of experience. I think the guys who were the production guys were the karate combat team. A lot of them, I think, or
Mhm.
had a lot to do with that. And so it was kind of like, all right, they're gonna handle business. It seemed the meetings were really positive. Um, Mike, the other announcer for night two, was there, and so it was like, oh, cool, man. We had talked the night before, got some reps with him on the phone to kind of like ease my nerves about what we're doing and try to have a congruency as much as possible between nights one and two. But uh, we got there, all bets are off. This is the first
Right.
time we're doing this thing. Everybody's doing what they're doing. I didn't really know where to be, like for this thing,
Yeah.
because like at the PGF, I've kind of just that's just I just go wherever,
We just figured
you
out
know.
where we could get you on camera. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just find out where I fit the best personally. A lot of times that gives me the information I need, etc. And so that's fine. But for this one, at first they're like, we want you to stay back here, uh, on the back, where the production crew was at first, and then just announce in the beginning from there, so that way we don't really, do too much time on that because there's going to be a lot of matches and there could be a lot of time burnout, And they're like, honestly, before I even got there, like you might not even go out there much until the very, end. And it's like,
Right.
cool, whatever. That's like fine. I don't even really need to go out there. Probably like it's a voice job in a lot of ways. I wasn't doing the interviews the way I would do a PGF and stuff. So it's like, yeah, cool. I just sit here with the guy, and the guy he'll tell me when to go. And so then I'll
Yeah.
go. So boom, we get started, we get going. The results are supposed to be coming in live from Smooth Comp.
Oof.
And I'm supposed to say it before it hits the arena. I'm supposed to say it before everybody at home gets to know it. Well, it's taken a second for it to get from smooth comp to us
To you. Yeah.
before they put it. Like by the time it gets to us, they're already ready for us to put it up.
Right.
He's like, I don't even know who's got it yet, and I don't know what the score. I don't know who's who yet. Like, let me get it. I need like 10 seconds or
At
something to it,
least.
like to get it. But they've already waited, extended amount of time
Yeah.
for it. They've already waited for a while, and everybody's already getting like, whoa, and the rest is almost over. And it's supposed to be coming out, before the rest is over. And so that's just like stressful. And so then like, well, we want you to move down. So maybe, you can be closer
To the like
to the
chain of
thing and
information.
this you,
Yeah.
you can get it. Well, then they put me though on this other side, away from everybody.
Mm.
That was the people. And they're like, well, your phone can give you the information the same way that we're getting it up here. So by the time you get it, you can just look at your phone and say it off your phone. That wasn't true. It was still, by the time everybody got it, Brandon and I think it's Howell and Josh Palmer, they at the booth, they already had it way before I did. Like they could have told it to me and everybody else way before.
You could have just heard them talking about it and already known. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it turns out they were connected to like a hardwired ish kind
Which
of
is
feed.
what you would need. Yeah. Everything else is on a delay.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
was on the delay the whole time. Right. So then I've been running around for a while. And these pants, I guess, during this whole stress time, me up and down, probably leaning, stooping, whatever, trying to get this information. And then, get, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm giving a little gusto.
High stepping.
I might be jumping. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It gets crazy, especially when I thought like nobody could see me and stuff.
Right.
But then I walked out there a few times. And during one of the walk out points of it all or whatever for a person, I think I did get a little like into it or whatever.
Yeah,
And I
you
felt
were
like that ain't good. I don't think that was good. So I just kind of like pinched my butt cheeks real tight and kind of like tried to make it look as cool as possible as I walked off to the end. And the show's just going on, right? Boom, boom, boom. I mean, they're in my ear. I hear everybody else's like, just the stuff, the show run or whatever that's going on and everything. And I'm like trying to like key to the producer. And I'm like, hey, like somebody's got to help me here. I don't know what to do because they want me to go back out now again for the next couple of matches or because they liked it or whatever. That's like, this is cool. And so I'm like, I need some help. Like I think I busted the ass out of my pants, like for real. And so I'm just standing there waiting for like somebody.
Did you say that over the comms?
No, I told a person first.
Oh, you told a person.
That was in the staff.
I was just hoping you keyed it up, and so everybody.
I did. I had to. So that's what I'm saying. Is like I told the person, and he's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, somebody. Like I need. I don't know what to do." And he looked, and he's like, "Yep, you sure did." And I was like, so then I had to hit him up because I didn't have anybody in production close to me because they sent me off like by myself on the island to kind of get that stuff or whatever. And so I'm just like, wait, I don't know what to do. I'm panicking. I'm trying to text Mandy. I'm like, hey, where are you? Are you here? Are you
in the sea of people? Like, can you please save me?
I have extra pants at the hotel, which is thankfully they booked us really close. Okay. They did a good job. They took care of me in that way, and all the stuff that they did. So no complaints about anything on them. None of this is about them, but it's a valuable learning experience. But yeah, I had ripped all the way down the seam, and like I'm just like, man, I can't, like blah blah blah. It to me, it was a very desperate plea for help over the comms. I bet that they probably like, we're not bringing this motherfucker back at all. Like, what is wrong with him? And so then the dude I was up at the top with in the beginning came down and found me. And he's just like, what's going on? And I'm like, man, my wife is going to get me some pants from the hotel room. I have more pants. Like I'll be fine. Like I can't go back out there in the middle right now unless y'all want me to.
Yeah.
And I'll just do it, And he's like, no, man, we wouldn't. No, you're good. You can just keep announcing from over here, like out of the way or whatever. And I'm like, I need the info somehow, and I still couldn't get it. She's a, shows up with the pants. I run to this like backstage area with my mic still like queued up and everything ready, just to like do. I did a whole like call out from the back while
Like
I
half
didn't have any
dressed.
pants on. Um,
The show must go on.
the show, yeah. And so then we figured out to get right beside the smooth comp people, and then they didn't make me go back out there anymore. And so it kind of just like closed out pretty well and smooth for me. And so then I saw on the second night how Mike was doing it, and he was like literally just kind of standing there the whole time. He'd get it, he'd write it on the way, walking around to the spot,
Yeah.
and then he'd say it because there was that much amount of time from when they got it to when you could just like that's what I'm saying. That pause is the pause of where I could have just been there
Yeah.
and then like made the walk to wherever was appropriate. To kind of so that's it. Having like him there was like a big deal. So maybe that's probably who they'll go with again, maybe. But also like
Yeah.
I get it. That's I get it. I see what's going on here and I'm ready. That's what
It's
it's
that
all
live
started.
performance, bro.
I
It's
can
different.
I can go. I think I can ad lib a little bit too.
Yeah.
And in the spirit of the game here, I know that Craig even there's a video or something I saw where he said he's trying to make it like Royal Rumble.
Oh, dude, yeah.
So then
That's I
it's
think
totally a
that's
work.
I said that in a meeting this week is that like I feel like that's one of the answers to the team thing of like making it entertaining is that the problem that I have when anytime you've done these team events that are like focused on the team like quintet or like that style of game is that it always does the same thing that every other rule set does is that it focuses like on trying to win the game. Like I don't even really know what I'm trying to say there is that like there's a point that makes it boring that like it just like it planes out. Whereas it's like, all right, well, if we make it more like a Royal Rumble kind of thing where it's like, oh, who's coming out next? I don't know. Oh God, that's
Yeah.
but because I don't know. The only memorable moment that I hear all the time is the which is a great moment, is the Geo Boogie moment in Quintet when you talk about like excitement.
Yeah, but everybody kind of knew what was happening then, though, too, right? That's the thing. That was
Right.
because that's a thing. I guess can happen, but it's just that was because it was known too.
Yeah.
Like it would have been really cool if it wasn't known. I guess maybe it was. I don't remember, but it feels like it was
I
like
feel like
known.
all of them would feel that way. Is I guess what I'm getting at is like all of them would have that moment if it was a little bit more of like the showman
But
like
does the
surprise.
team know?
The team themselves?
Yeah.
I mean, they'd
Because
have
we
to
saw
some
that,
extent.
but we saw that at some events, and they're all trying to fake and act like who's gonna come up or not or whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
And so I can't remember
What would
what
be
that was.
cool? What would be really cool is that if, and this is like a blend of some like reality TV I've seen recently, is that if they had like a light and the coach just has like a controller
It's like a buzzer from a restaurant or whatever.
and just like when yours lights
Your
up,
table's ready, my boy.
you're up, champ. Like, and so like it's literally a coach trying to play a video game
That's crazy.
with their team. Is that like and they don't get to sit there. They can game plan and do all that leading up to it, but the whole point is that John Danaher sitting there live making the decision. Like this is who's up next.
And so Royal Rumble is definitely like the countdown clock and everybody whatever. But that's like a every man for himself kind of idea. And the randomness of it is that people don't know allegedly who's going to be what
Right.
order, right? And so then it because even teammates go in for themselves on Royal Rumble. That's where a lot of people turn on each other. It's like a lot of like teams break apart at the Royal Rumble somehow because one guy goes in business for himself against the other guy, and it's like, oh no,
Oh no.
yeah, right. And it's like, well, this is my chance, blah blah blah, kind of deal.
You've been holding me down. Yeah.
So listen, so see, I'm ready. I'm telling you, I got the lore. I've been ready. I'm learned in this. I think more of what we would need for what they're doing here is almost like a Survivor Series event, is what it's called.
Okay.
But everybody's out, at ringside or on the ring or mat or whatever side. The difference with, I guess, with this one is that they tag somebody, like, like it's a tag team kind of deal. There'll be four guys, and like if me and you're on the same team, I could tag you in to get in with the match without having to tap or whatever it is. Like I could get over there and we could switch with the tag. But every time somebody gets pinned or whatever it is, they lose, they're out. So then it's like from 4-on-4 to 4-on-3. And then it could go, from either
Yeah.
any number of ways to where, it could even finish like 4-on-1. And in these events, it would be, I don't know how to make it that way, I guess, because the tag, you'd have to have the mats, I guess, big enough
Yeah,
to make it
and
random.
we've seen people try tag jiu-jitsu. It's cool. It's a novelty. It's
It
fun.
doesn't really fit the right
No,
way, right? But that's kind
it
of the
always turns into
idea.
some. It always turns into some guy being in backpack and the guy like walking over and like handing him over in a back control to his partner. Like that's it every single time.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's why you have like, yeah, never mind. But there's a lot that goes into that. And there's, the performance of that and versus the real life part of that game,
Yeah,
where, like you said, they'll just immediately, backpack you over there and you get choked. Uh, but that's the idea of what quintet is more like, though, in a
yeah,
way, is that,
yeah.
you lose you're out, but your team is
But
still
your
down a
team
man,
stays on, and yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
they could still come back without you.
I guess what I don't like is that like it's grappling and combat sports has been such a singular sport for so long. Is that like I'm specifically wanting to watch that grappler roll, and so like if your grappler gets taken off the board early, or if they never get on the board, like yeah, that's where I kind of go, like it's cool, like if we're but. I like combat sports because it's not team sports, like as far as the repercussions and the competition and the things like that. It's one versus one, and then like the team aspect, I understand. But then when that means that somebody rides to the bench, it's like I wanted to see that guy go.
And that's why there's the PGF, I guess.
Well, I mean, okay, not to toot the horn, but it's like yeah, like in the PGF, I feel like it satisfies both things. Is that you have the team aspect of like, oh, we're in this together, trying to score all these points, but now I'm trying to score my points.
Mm-hmm.
And so that motivates, I feel like, the team dynamic to be better because even the bottom rung guy is like, no, no,
But
no,
and
no,
you
no,
get to see
no.
them all go though too. That's what I
Yeah,
was saying. For you, that satisfies that need, for whoever they're going to get to go with everybody. And in the
yeah,
upcoming season now, that's a new thing for sure. That they're adding the extra day now to make it where everybody's going to go against everybody in the season. So there won't be any of those, you know, situations where uh, Sebastian ends up wanting to go against Paul, but Paul's taking the day off or whatever it is somehow and stuff like that because it'll affect his day in a real way or whatever. And that's he wanted that match even though he hadn't won any yet. He
yeah.
that's those
Just
guys are
wanted to
wanting
feel it, wanted
they're
to
wanting
run
those
it.
opportunities, right?
Yeah,
That's what a young guy quote or a young competitor is supposed to do, and that's one of the big things I respected a lot about Sebastian. He showed up every match, win, lose or draw, all week long,
ran at the same pace
down to the
every
last
time.
one, right?
Yeah,
Exactly, all
yeah,
the way to the end, and that was
yeah.
like that's the dude, to me. Like guys that win, of course, and guys that even Ryan Aiken, who there the same week did the same thing, essentially pushed his way through and won it, but showed up all the time and did it. Did that's it's like that's
It's
crazy.
hard to keep that energy through that whole thing, and not just the week. I'm interested on this season and how it's going to play out as a long season, but like they've done this before in the first season, and this happens. Is that like the guys? It's hard to keep that energy from day one to day
You
three.
got to really be about it.
Right.
You got to really, really be about it, and
So like
that's
going
what's
week
going
to
to make
week,
it.
that's gonna be interesting to me.
Yeah. Um, it's going to favor the people who are able to be there for the extended periods of time. I think anybody that's maybe having to travel too much and compete for it for too many days is going to maybe struggle with it if they're not used to that. Maybe that's something that gets better developed in the athletes
Because they start
as we go
learning how to
forward.
do it.
Yeah, because they just gets reps on it, and it's like, okay, I need this, and I need to take this, I need to have that with me.
I need to
This,
land by
yes,
this time so that
and
I'm taking a
exactly
nap
what I
and getting
have
a
with me. Yeah,
massage
the right
and
food, the right whatever, not waiting on the airport to do whatever or whoever that have anything that all that kind, whatever that's going to end up being for each person. You got to go. You got to kind of know that, and it's only a 1 day thing,
because I mean, how
2 days.
different is that than baseball? Like, how many days out of the year are they traveling and they've got to do the same thing at
Yeah,
home that they do on the road?
it's basically they 180 day, 185 days. I think it's like 162 games, and
Yeah,
then if you make the playoffs, there's more.
yeah.
So it's like a lot. And that, like the football guys, same thing when they're in season. There's still what 16, 17 weeks.
Of like,
Yeah.
and I mean, you want to talk about the same thing like what we're talking about is hard nosed. I mean, talk about every single Sunday, like essentially it's been compared to like you're having a car crash multiple times a day on a Sunday, and then you got to do it again next week. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what being a professional, and that's when we're professional grappling federation is like
And
you're gonna have
basketball
to
player,
run it.
everybody, like
Yeah.
this is not taken away from anybody, but basketball players the same. Everybody's got their own grind in that way that makes it special in its own kind of unique way, right? That's why there's different athletes typically for the different sports, like a different, some can cross over like a general athletic person or whatever that makes it in any sport, but a lot of different sports have like specialists, body types or
Is a lot
athletic
of that
abilities,
the
whatever it is.
crossover? We're chasing a rabbit hole here, but
Like,
like
shh,
the
couldn't wait to
crossover
talk to
thing,
you.
guys that are able to and people like athletes that are able to cross over sports like that. Do you think a lot of that's an age thing as far as like an athlete? Like there is the specific body type you're talking about that's just the athlete. They can just do a backflip out of the box. As where like the ones that successfully crossed over from say what are some of the successful crossovers like basketball to baseball or no, none of those were really super successful. Like where have those crossovers played out? Like, can you think of one
Like two sport athletes or whatever, but not. I don't know anybody that's like
in their
later, like
mid
just say
twenties
like
as a
later in life.
professional, whatever, and they're playing two sports?
I mean, like Deion Sanders, Brian
Okay,
Jordan, guys like
okay,
that or whatever. I can't think of other. Like, I didn't really follow a bunch of other sports, I guess, like that at the same time or whatever.
yeah.
So
But those are some that were coming to mind. They was just
I
slipping
don't
my
know
name
any
on the
two
names.
sport basketball athletes that were like simultaneous. I know Jordan had that, like,
Baseball stint.
yeah, but and a lot of guys probably did both when they were in high school or whatever it was, and that's the thing. Like locally, they did probably everything, but then once they got older, they picked something.
Well, eventually you have to hone it in. I mean, I guess like when you pull this back to like a jujitsu conversation
I
or
think to
like a
what you asked though, hold on, to go back to what you
okay,
asked
okay,
though, is it an age thing? I think
yeah,
sometimes it kind of becomes that you've already
yeah.
went so far down one road, it's kind of hard to do anything else because the other thing is so specialized too. Like you could do it, but to do it at a really high level, you got to be able to specialize in whatever those like nuances are for each kind of game. In that way, like you could do okay, like Master
Yeah,
P was in a development little basketball league, like he
yeah,
was pretty good at it, but like
you could wreck a development league or like
you're really
a
really
rec
good to
league. Yeah,
everybody else in the
yeah,
world, but you're not quite a NBA or Major League
pro.
Baseball or
You're not a pro.
NFL.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah,
like a
yeah,
pro, I guess.
yeah.
But like that's the thing. What's a pro? Is an amateur, like an amateur's not, but like is a minor league or a developmental league player. They're professional. They're getting paid to play. Is
That's
that we've talked
that's
about
the
that before,
definition
right?
of
That's
pro.
like that's the thing, right? So these guys
That's
are still pros that, and some of them are making more or less for what they do, just like every other profession, I guess, right? If you're a plumber, you could charge more or less based on the jobs that you're doing, but there's
but I mean,
there's a ceiling.
what qualifies as a pro? Because I mean, you and I both know in the era of MMA we came up in, they had amateurs.
You know what
But
it is.
what was it? I mean,
If you know, you know. If you don't, then you don't. But like
no,
it's
I
just
feel
like
that.
getting paid is the definition, right? And so you're a pro for getting paid. You're professional for getting money for it. But being a pro is something that's like a mindset. It's like it's a way that you do.
Yeah.
Like that's a it's a way of being. It's not really like a getting paid for it kind of thing because you're probably a pro long before you get paid if you're a real one.
That's what I was getting
Uh,
at. Yeah.
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 So yeah, and I think being younger makes you more pliable to be able to adapt and switch to different things. Um, but I think you can teach people who are high level at stuff to be
High
good
level at other
at other
stuff.
stuff, but they
Yeah.
may
Yeah.
just be, like again, age may have had them too many injuries or some sort of other thing like that, or their life's changed now to where they can't really dedicate the same time that they did
Yeah.
when they were young to this thing. And so that's also what made them elite was
Well, it's like
being
black belts. Like when you
crazy.
meet, you and I both have like met like the some of the highest level of black belts, and like when you meet those guys, they're usually black belts and other stuff too.
I
Like
mean,
they're usually, or at least purple belts, or at least like they're trying to like master something else, and they're kind of repeating the same pattern that they did over here to achieve the rank of black belt that is what we've deemed it as. Like
mm,
obviously, like no black belt out there. You can. I've always heard this. Like you can order a black belt off of Amazon. Like yeah. But like a black belt that is given to somebody from an organization
you
out there
can.
within the sport, none of them are free. Like you got to do something to get them from everybody. Like so anybody that's a black belt, they like somebody did something to get the black belt.
Yeah.
So, now not all those are created equal. And that's where, like, I've seen is that, like, where you realize a real black belt, somebody who's a real black belt, they're making that pursuit in other aspects of their
Eventually.
life.
I mean, it forces you to, I guess, in certain ways if you're doing it right. I guess that's the same thing is the way that you're doing it right. Because I don't know. That's like I think getting my black belt was the one thing, and then after that, it was like, oh, this kind of boring.
Yeah. Now what?
Not boring because there's nothing to do or anything like that, but it's just like I made it to the goal, I guess, in that way now. So I need something else to kind of have a goal with, in a way, and not to say this one isn't good or not, like not that this is bad or whatever it is, but just like you're like, okay, like you said, I just need something else to be doing to try to work on improvement more, because like when I got my black belt, I was pretty good. By the time I got it, I was pretty good. And so I had worked on improvement for so many years. And for the last several years of that run, that had been the main the main damn focus of my entire life
That's
was
all you paid
self-improvement. That was
attention to.
all
Yeah.
I was trying to do was
Right.
improve myself because we had young kids and we were doing these things and I was around all these people that were high achievers in so many different ways. And it was the first time I had so much access to things like that on a personal level, one to one, kind of stuff like that. So yeah, so that was like a huge like thing during that whole period, for me. So by the time I got it, it was like, whoa, like, because Richie was crazy, um, hard to me about it, because probably because I'm hard to teach maybe sometimes. Um, but I think that goes into everything of knowing, you know, your people and what you're doing and stuff like that. Because I had a bunch of questions, I questioned everything and needed,
Right.
already been training for like things like the age and the old person thing is like, trying to learn new stuff from somebody was different. And so I just questioned a lot of stuff that was pretty settled in his mind,
Yeah.
and so I needed time to grow through it. And so it's like, yeah, so it was really hard for me to get it. And so that was one thing too, was just like to go back to trying to just like be a complete student as much as possible and not, try to be the guy who knew stuff. Was just like just do what they're telling you and see what happens.
Well, don't you when you get to that point, like finally know enough to learn something?
Well, I think that's the thing is like it was for me to get it was almost to know that like finally understanding that I didn't know everything.
Yeah.
Like once I finally understood that I didn't know everything, I was like, okay, there's a lot. Okay. And I started taking in a lot more other things and different avenues, then somehow circle my way back to the things that I like. Once I kind of let down all that other stuff, it kind of let me be able to combine the other knowledge with the knowledge that I had. So yes, it was like a thing. And now that's where we're at now too, in a way, is trying to find those things to still push, that mindset. And I think that's why a lot of guys, like you hear the old coaches or whatever, when they retire, they basically kind of pass away almost pretty quick. It's because they're just like, they don't necessarily have their passion, that thing to keep them driven and getting up every day and getting after it and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think you as a human, no matter what you're doing, that needs to be some sort of element of your life, is some sort of thing, tinker with something.
Yeah.
That's hopefully positive, don't tinker with bad stuff.
Yeah.
Don't dilly dally with bad things.
Well, and I mean, I got told a long time ago when I was going through my like heart surgery stuff that I had a doctor that, like, she's probably the reason I'm alive. She was a lady that was from Lebanon, and she had figured out like what my problem was with, like, basically the ultrasound machine, like what they use. That's all she used to figure out what like a complex problem was. And she sat down and told me one time that she was just, because I was in a stage where while they were trying to figure everything out, I had to be super sedentary, and like I couldn't like exert myself because I basically had a 99% blockage on one side type of thing of the heart. And so from the structure of the heart, not because I was, eating large amounts of whichever cholesterol they now say is bad for you. But the lesson that she was giving me was that she was like, so I get that you're having to be sedentary. You're a 13-year-old kid that's been, super active up until now. So an idle mind is the devil's playground, is kind of like what she said. And it's one of those things that's like, you've got to be chasing something and got to be like trying to expand your world however possible, or else you're gonna like start making crazy decisions and doing things. And I didn't realize that much about myself at that age yet, so I had to like kind of like, I'm a touch the stove to see if it's hot type of guy. And so like I spent my life like like learning that, but like through the pursuit of that and whatnot, because there's the black belt, that's out there that you're like, oh, if you get your black belt, then like you can X, like yeah, like you can XYZ or whatever you want to say. And it's like, I kind of heard this early on, but it didn't like compute until like later in my career, is that like it's the pursuit of that education. It's the chase of that, because that's what it is that like it's a mark of an education. And just like any education, and not to knock anybody's degree, but it's like, or lack of degree or whatever you want to say, is that like where you get it matters, and how you go about getting it, that's the marker. And so it's like, yeah, I can go to XYZ local whatever, and I can get my degree, and I can go work my way up and be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. That's a billion times possible. I could also go to Harvard and be working at the local library. That's possible too. And what do you want out of it? What is the education you want? Because the thing is I can get a Harvard education right here on my laptop, or shit, I can do it on my phone.
Let's do it while these boats are just like floating back and forth behind your head on either like
Exactly.
depths, 3 different depths right there. It's a nice little painting.
Is the knowledge what you want? Is the community what you want? Is the like, what do you want from that? And whatever you want from it is what you're gonna get back.
Alleged, sort of. Whatever you give to it.
Probably. Well, okay, all right. Whatever you want from it as you give to it, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying,
like,
right?
What you're giving into it with the intent. Okay, the intention that you put into it is what you'll get back. There we go. That's what I was trying to say.
Don't matter what you want. You won't get nothing with just wanting.
Because it's just like the moral of the story is that like it's not the mountaintop's not the goal. The
Yeah.
goal is like what you see along the way to get to the mountaintop, and then what do you see when you get to the top? More information, more things to absorb, more ways to draw a map, and that's the point. And I think that the other point is to make the ability to throw the rope down behind you and help people see the different possibilities that are there.
Mm.
And I think that a lot of people forget the power that you end up with because you have achieved something that people want, and then they don't utilize that power in a way to help people, or to even they either just don't acknowledge it, they don't use it, they don't, it's like you have this thing that has helped you and put you in this position, and this stuff, you either don't use it, or they use it in a way that's like self-fulfilling.
Mm.
And I think that that's something that I haven't seen that get mastered. I've seen people do it well, and I've seen people do it really poorly. I don't know the answer to that. I think that it's more of just the more you're focused on the information and the things that you're trying to do and the positives, that's more of what you're going to extend back. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. For sure. So, all that you said also last night that there is another, is it Cancun Open, or is that what this is, or what's the next event down there?
Yeah. This one's going to be another open. We're in discussion of what the brackets are going to be, but one of the main brackets for the open is going to be absolutes.
Mm.
So big boys or little guys, if you got what it takes on the big boys, we'll have a bracket for you. One of the brackets is probably going to be kind of a super bracket. It's going to be like one of those like 4 or 6 guys that are people that we've had in the invitational before, some of the like local guys that are on the scene that are pretty good, any of the like folks from out of town that want to come in. That's going to be in July. Right now. Yeah.
Okay.
In I guess that's mid to end of July is going to be the plan of that. And we're going to be running everybody huge fans of the PGF rules, as we all know. Every time we run it, people are super excited afterwards. Dude, it is one of those things where like people want a rule set, and what they want to do is they want to watch people do jiu-jitsu. And every time you do this is like, as a competitor and as somebody who wants to like go compete, well, I want to go roll. Like, I don't want to go to an open mat and get one roll. Like, oh my God, that sounds terrible. But you mean I get to go in and run it 4 times super hard with other high level people that want to run it super hard and like chase the submission? Oh, dude, sign me up. Like this is what we practice for.
Mm.
Like, we practice to be able to go like this. And then like people go, oh man, that's tough. Like, back-to-back matches and stuff. That's literally how you do an open mat. That's how we train as a community, is that you go in there and you get 12 matches.
Yeah. I never liked one match in a day.
No.
Not
like,
for jiu-jitsu.
No. Like, it's just, that's boring.
Because even the one, you know, by the time you got ramped up and done, a lot of times, you'd be like, man, I wish I could do another one.
Yeah, for sure. So another thing that we've introduced is that, and I think everybody's been a pretty big fan of this, is that when we do have the super fights, because it's fun to sometimes like set up a super fight between just 2 people and not have to deal with a whole bracket, and those 2 people have a beef or they want to run it and that type of thing, is to run like a 2 out of 3.
Beef?
Like a like best 2 out of 3.
Got like a jiu-jitsu beef. That's funny.
But that's been a big fan. Like, people like getting to get multiple rounds and getting to be able to see like a couple of looks at something. It's like, oh dude, like you did a flying triangle, can you do it again? Like like I feel like that's fun. So that's going to be in July. It'll be good. The same, like produced and put it out as a show afterwards for everybody to watch. And good reviews locally. People want to come. There's going to be motorcycle races that weekend. I believe it's the 19th and 20th is the soft date that we have right now
Okay.
on that weekend. But they're gonna have grappler races back, and we're gonna have jujitsu that night, and it's
Sounds like it's gonna be a good time
it will it
in
will.
Cancun during the summer. Sounds like you should go, people. I have to check the calendar. I feel like we got something going on maybe that week already. Um, but I'm not sure. Man, uh, busy stuff coming up though for sure. PGF
For sure.
draft coming up very quickly
June
in the next
25th,
month. Yeah, June 25th, and then
July 23rd
small
is the
break. We're
first day.
jumping right into, the longest season of jiu-jitsu ever for people that's going to stay connected. So that'd be fun. I think the season one it was interesting the way it was.
Is this
Yeah,
one longer than the one that they did for season 1? I think.
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know that
We
100%.
are
I
the
think they
like
have more
PGF.
people,
We are the only organization that is doing a season though.
like a real one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. And I think it's gonna be super fun. I got a list of names. So I can't really talk too much about names and stuff until other stuff comes out. But
Wait, you
it's
got a
the
list?
it's
I
like
don't even know what's on
I
this
was just like,
list.
oh man, can you guys just like give me a list so I can start like practicing the names?
Got him. Oh.
But it's true. But that's the truth. That's the real
Yeah.
truth. And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that says, like, it's cool to know ahead of time, but it's also just for me to be able to not be such a dummy by the time I get there.
Yeah. Well, that's
Hopefully,
appreciated from a production standpoint.
yeah, and that's why they sent
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
Because it makes sense logically for
Yeah.
me to get them. So yeah, I'm excited for all that stuff coming up. It's gonna be cool to have the production there. So you guys need to look out for us on site. Probably not that we're gonna beat you up, but we might. Meaning on site at the PGF during the season. We're trying to run these babies right there on point. So we'll probably be able to get some folks on. Hopefully, get some folks on. That'd be pretty cool. I hated bothering people too much during the other seasons because it was such a
So much
long
was going on.
ordeal.
Yeah.
During the week and doing one more thing was like, okay, I don't want to do that. But so see if we can kind of sneak in some of these heavy hitters that folks want to talk to or whatever. And so before we get going though, I gotta give you your true or
Oh,
false
you got that?
fact
Yeah.
of the
Okay.
day.
Did you look it up?
I did. I got one. I've
Oh,
looked
you
up.
got a new one.
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
I
you're
didn't look
not.
up
I
yours.
thought you wanted me to come up with my own questions.
No, that's stupid. That's what I was saying. I was like, so I have the true or false Mexican fact of the day.
Okay.
Give me 2 more segments. So I was like, give me 2 more idea segments for the show, and you were like,
Oh,
give me 2 more Mexican facts, and I was like, all right.
oh, I
The answer to
misinterpreted
these. I
that.
feel like, yeah,
I actually
so
didn't. I hid the answer from myself.
weird. But it's a pyramid in Oaxaca. Is dang
Oaxaca.
Oaxaca. Said whatever Oaxaca, not whatever. Sorry, people from Oaxaca. Was discovered to align perfectly with the Orion constellation. True
Okay.
or false? Fact or fake? What you know? Come on, boy.
There is a pyramid over there, and I feel like there's been a lot of things that have been found to be indirect like that, but I can't remember if Orion is where they could see it. I think it's true.
So you're going with fact.
See.
You are wrong. You
Oof.
don't know
See?
Mexican
The
history.
pyramids. I wanted to
know.
believe in the
I
pyramids.
know.
That's
I
why you
know.
threw them in there.
That's a real thing. There's a real thing.
That's a real thing.
But
Yeah, yeah.
you didn't know enough to know
I felt like I
if it's
wanted to
the
believe that it is.
Orion
I
or
think
not.
I think that Orion, I don't think it's where they could point it at Orion's belt in the
I bet you'll
sky.
know after today, won't you?
Oh, I'm about to go GPT it up.
And that's how you do it, little boys. You get them out here and you hit them with some facts and you make them learn things just with a little challenge. That's what it takes for some people. You got to put them on the spot there. What else you got real quick? Anything today?
No, I just got that coming up, and I'm teaching like a little class
Mm,
seminar
mm,
thingy. It's in the middle of the week. It's on Tuesday, May 27th. I'm going to be in Opelika over there, the homies with the Red Wolf School of Martial Arts.
let's
I'm going to
go.
be
Red
running through
Wolf.
some of the games. I'm bringing back some of the classics, but like some new things that I've been playing with.
Bring it
It's
back. You got to hit them with the classics. Everybody wants to hear your number one songs, even if
everybody wants Freebird.
they want to hear
Everybody
it.
wants Freebird. What's your Freebird, Steven?
Man, depends on who it is where I go a lot of times, but it's usually like lockdown or people would want like head and arm stuff.
Okay. We playing in some lockdown at mine. I'm doing some lockdown, but then we're gonna go some different pathways I've been playing with. I've gotten off on a track play with Johnny here that we've been doing a lot of truck and like different pathways into the truck, but like from
Mm,
like arm drags and from like the different like entries and using that harpoon and whatnot, like
I don't even know what
playing.
that means.
it's
Let's go ahead and say that.
it's where you're sticking your arm through. It's like the octopus guard type thing, but you're doing it from like the truck entry, and you're
Mm.
not weaving the truck. You're like locking it in with your hand, and then like weaving the lockdown on the truck on the other side. So like
Yeah,
Kevin Burbrick and all those guys do a lot of it.
I bet he does. Kevin Burbick's one of the best truck guys
Truckmaster Flex on
anywhere.
Instagram.
There
Yeah,
you go. It says it
yeah,
all. Like I knew
yeah,
that before that was his handle. Uh, he's gangster, man. He's one of my favorite guys to watch
for sure,
for sure.
for sure. I
Um,
love watching that game, and that's like
he's fun to roll with
kind
too
of
a
play.
lot.
I've
So
never gotten
that
to roll with him.
well, he'll go
He'll
probably
play.
if you wanted
He'll play.
to. But
He's at
that's cool.
Poway,
That's
right?
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
I believe it's still where still
Where is
Poway.
it?
Uh,
Okay, cool.
um,
And you got something coming up on 31st.
May 31st, PGF champion Ryan Aiken coming to Perry, having a seminar there. You don't have to be a member to be able to come. It's $100 for non-members. Members, you know what it is. Otherwise, come on, hang out with us. It's technically our 5-year anniversary for the school. Then,
Ooh.
technically, we had kind of had to push back months due to the pandemic situation with the world and everything. So,
But we here, alive, thriving, living.
which is crazy. Like to think that's the saying, like sitting here and being in this kind of spot these last couple of weeks is freaking wild to kind of think about it all. Where it's like where it quote started to where it's at. Because it started a long time ago somewhere else. In reality, thinking
Right.
about it that way, but from where we were day one, June 1st when we opened in 2020 to what it is now is just it's crazy. And it's not that now is so much better or then was so much worse or either one of those kind of things like that. It's just different than it
Yeah.
was and how things in the world have moved and kids who've grown up that were babies that are now big people they're growing
Yeah.
just like you've
Yeah.
been around
Yeah.
for a long enough time and seen people that have stuck by
That half
uh,
decade really kind of like shows you a
for a
marker.
5-year-old or for an 8-year-old or whatever is a lot.
That's
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So that's a
That's
big deal.
40% of their
So,
life.
right. And like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, is crazy. And so there's a lot of people that have been like that, that are still, around and have been around, from the beginning and still kind of even people who aren't around but are still around from the
Yeah.
beginning, that
Yeah.
just kind of had to move on, whether,
Yeah.
had to move relocation or, man, back to work
Yeah.
and they didn't have it, they were at home, didn't have to go anywhere for a long time. And then suddenly people have to go back to work and gradually people have to go back to work, and so
Yeah.
then some of the, people have had to shift again. So it's just a lot of stuff like that. So there's a lot of, as a coach or as a person, you deal with a lot of people moving and leaving and changing and things like that. And it stinks, because
Yeah.
that's, again, we've talked about it so many times. That's the job. That's what the people are the thing. That's the reason for the whole thing, you know. So seeing people come and go and stuff, whether good or bad or not, not saying, you know, is like bad obviously is worse, but seeing people even leave for good reasons for themselves or anything like that still is like, oh man,
Yeah.
I really like them. I wish they were still
Yeah.
around. And if we had those, if I had those 10 people still around or whatever, the room would be crazy.
A
You
different.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
even not necessarily even on such a higher, it would be a higher skill level, obviously, because they still have been whatever, but like, you know, and everybody has that. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's cool.
and you can zoom out enough too, and you've been in the game long enough that like when you zoom out, you can kind of see it of the fact that like you said, this happens everywhere, and it's I mean it's families like families do that. Like everybody has to go off and do these things and
You
opportunities.
got your own thing, you know, and
Yeah,
then again, you end up go, you know, again, work or real life things, you know, for some people it is just a hobby, and that's not bad. But they get a new job or whatever, so
yeah,
they have to move and they train jujitsu wherever they move
yeah.
to, right? So
Well, and
it's not like that either, right? It's like they get
yeah,
it, but they just got to
yeah,
go to work. They can't like I
yeah,
can't like not take the job. I can't like not go somewhere for my
yeah,
work to stay here and
yeah,
do jujitsu where it's just a hobby. And it's
yeah,
so like
yeah.
is there's some and this is a military town, so there's just a lot of things
Well,
like
and
that.
you've been a very good conduit for a lot of people in that way to like access like not only jujitsu but like the 10th planet world. Like me, like you were that connection for me to the 10th planet world, and then the like I've experienced that myself where I've seen people that have trained with me, and like I didn't necessarily like be able to keep them like under a roof and keep them like what they needed, but then I see them at like Femvasion or like at an Eddie seminar, and I'm like, ah, cool, like you got it,
Still
good
trying, yeah.
job, sweet.
Nice.
I'm glad you're in the world, like
Right.
you know.
Yeah, so it's a lot of good things like that, you know. So yeah, Ryan's coming down on the 31st to teach
Sick.
a seminar for us. I think he's gonna do some passing and top leg attacks
Nice,
off of that stuff. I told
nice.
him, you know, whatever is his choice. I don't like to dictate
Yeah,
what you know an artist coming in and
I want
telling
you to
me or
come in and
whatever.
paint, just
What
paint,
do you
like
feel the best about
yeah,
showing? And like, and then even if you're just like experimenting with something, show us that, because maybe to some people that'll spark some idea.
oh
I'm
dude,
sure there's
it's weird,
something there, you know,
it's
and that's what
weird, yeah,
that's what a seminar's supposed to be, right?
it's
It's
the
not like
spark,
them
yeah,
telling you exactly how to do everything or
it's
whatever.
the
It's like
spark,
somebody sharing ideas with you that are probably a little bit beyond where you've been so far. And that's
yeah.
in whatever field it is. And so from that, you can start doing your own research and further your knowledge and your studies on whatever the given topic is. And
Yeah,
so, yeah, whatever he feels is, again, like the band idea. If you're on tour, man, just give me what's hot, like give me what you got, and then
yeah,
maybe throw in a couple like classics of whatever you got. So I'm sure off his passing
right.
and leg entanglements or whatever, he'll show us how to finish that rear naked choke and things that he's not good at too.
I want him to break down that armbar escape.
Oh yeah, you got to be incredibly tough.
Yeah, I honestly just want to know how much of it was like, all right, we're gonna see if he can break it, or how much of it was like, no, I had one little angle I was doing that I could believe in. I was like, what is it?
I can ask him that for sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I feel like that even though there was maybe one or both of those is both is probably still true, because it was
at some point, yeah,
if he is like until you can do it, I think that there's still that one point that you can't.
right,
Like it's a weird combo of belief and maybe technique sometimes that comes into matches and things, and
for sure.
the tempo of the moment, So tempo has been the word of the week. Sorry for everybody that's heard me say that 60,000 bajillion times this week. I gotta stop.
Tempo.
And on that note, Isaac, anything else from you?
I'm out.
All right, everybody, don't be a creep. See y'all next week at the Dream Show Live.